Hello, everyone. Somewhere the hustle we brag about and the exhaustion we hide, many of us have learned to push through like it's a badge of honor until our bodies, relationship, or a January promise. It's the brave, deeply personal decision to come back home to yourself, to unlearn survival habits passed down as strength, to trade constant grind for daily peace, and to rebuild your routine around what actually matters. It's choosing rest without guilt, food without shame, movement without punishment, and boundaries without apology. Because the life you're building should feel like it's yours and not just something you're enduring. Welcome to the Holistic Health for Women of Color podcast, where confusion turns into clarity and your daily choices becomes a powerful path to lasting heart health. I am Donna Williams, certified holistic health coach and founder of holisticbphealth.com. I created this space for busy women of color, professionals, mothers, and women 40 and over who are tired of the quick fixes, cookie cutter advice, and feeling like their real lives are never part of the health conversation. Here, your lived experience is the starting point and not an afterthought. Each episode, we cut through the noise and focus on what actually works for your body, your culture, and your season of life. My approach is culturally aware, practical, grounded in real life. Together, we'll turn your own wisdom, into simple, sustainable habits so heart health feels less like a struggle and more like an act of self respect. You'll get clear guidance, doable steps, and compassionate accountability to help you build more energy, more confidence, and more consistency on your terms. This is your safe, judgment free space to learn, unlearn, and reclaim your health story. You're not starting from scratch, you're starting from experience. Again, welcome to Holistic Health for Women of Color. Let's begin your journey at holisticbphealth.com. Our topic today is the lifestyle reset, how everyday choices prevent and reverse chronic disease. Today, I am truly honored to introduce our guest today, Dr. Ann Hester, double board certified physician in internal medicine and in lifestyle medicine. And here is a powerful perspective. Fewer than zero point 0.4 of doctors in the US hold lifestyle medicine certification. Dr. Esther is part of that small group, and her work centers on something both practical and life changing, helping people use daily habits as real tools for long term health, energy, and well being. Dr. Ann will be sharing more about her story and the work she does. But for now, Dr. Ann, welcome to the show. It's a genuine pleasure to have you here, and thank you so much for joining us.
Don, it's an honor to be here. Thank you so very much.
Okay, let's set the framework of what we would like to discuss. First, for someone new to lifestyle medicine, what is it and how is it different from just eating better and exercising, and define the promise of safely of when people hear prevent and reverse chronic disease, what does reverse mean clinically and what does it not mean? And please connect the conditions. Can you break down the connection between inflammation, insulin, resistance, blood sugar issues, diabetes, high blood pressure in a simple way?
Certainly. Okay. First of all, hello, everyone. And it's really a blessing and an honor to be here. I want to go back to the beginning. My dad was the only African American physician in a city, Evansville, Indiana. And I learned at a young age the importance, the significance of the health disparities that we deal with. And I went to medical school. He passed before he knew I wanted to follow in his footsteps, but I went to medical school And I've always had a passion for empowering people. In medical school, we were taught anatomy, physiology. This is the disease. This is the pill you prescribe, or this is the surgery that you get. And I practiced internal medicine for about 30 years. And basically, for those who don't know what internal medicine is, you send your kid to a pediatrician when your kid is sick. When you're sick, you're likely going to see an internal medicine doctor or an internist, maybe a family practice doctor or your OBGYN. But for the most part, um, medical issues for adults are handled by internal medicine doctors. So I watched an unbelievable amount of unnecessary pain and suffering over the decades. And I knew there had to be something better. I decided that I wanted to help empower people. And so I developed a platform called patientworld.net. And I hired various doctors, cardiologists, and so forth to do bite sized, on demand programs for people to understand their condition. And I hired one doctor who was a lifestyle medicine doctor. It sounded interesting, but I didn't really know what it was. So as I recorded her course, I just sat there with my mouth dropping. It's like, I've been a doctor for decades. Why didn't I know this? It's because in medical school, we're taught anatomy, physiology, disease, pill, surgery. But we're not taught, or we were not back then, about the root causes of the diseases. And so once the diseases occur, okay, so we have a drug that can help. It does not fix the root cause. It does not reverse the disease, unless we're talking about like antibiotics for pneumonia, you can reverse that. But when we deal with things like high blood pressure and diabetes, we're basically treating the symptoms and improving life expectancy, but we're not really addressing what caused it in the first place. And so, lifestyle medicine, as opposed to eat healthy, is more like an engineered, specifically targeted framework for how to prevent, treat, and reverse many chronic diseases naturally. So instead of saying, eat more fruits and veggies, eat more veggies, you may say, okay, if you eat more green vegetables and things that have high potassium, that high potassium can counteract the effects of sodium on your blood pressure. And it may give a specific amount, like 4,700 milligrams a day. So with lifestyle medicine, this is not just eat healthy, live longer. It's if you do this specifically, then this outcome is going to be better for you. For instance, instead of saying go exercise, we use the national guidelines. 150 minutes per week of moderate activity can decrease your hemoglobin A1C by like 0.7%. So we go with specifics. Specifically, what do you do? And there are 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine. One is a whole food, plant-based diet. Number 2 is exercise, specific amounts of exercise. Number 3 is restorative sleep. Number 4 is stress reduction. Number 5 is social connections. And number 6 is toxin avoidance. And so when you stack these things on top of each other, it's kind of like spaghetti. You know, things are intertwined, they work together to reach your goals.
Oh, that is amazing. I love your introduction. And
Thank you.
I know your father, know that you followed in his footstep because your work alone established that, proves that. Plus, for you to be in the point four category, that's amazing to me.
Thank you.
But one thing, I know I'm a bit jumping the gun here, but you mentioned restorative sleep.
Yes.
A lot of people don't understand what is restorative sleep. Can you explain that a bit more for us?
Yes. So When you don't sleep enough, it actually lowers your life expectancy. Your hormones just go in flux. The cortisol, the chronic inflammation hormone, and chronic inflammation is tied to diabetes, cancer, all sorts of things. So that cortisol level gets out of whack when you don't sleep well. Imagine a cleanup crew. So your brain has a cleanup crew. It's called the lymphatic system. And when you sleep, that crew goes to work sweeping away the toxins and all the trash around your brain. So you wake up the next day refreshed. When you don't sleep well, you forgo that cleansing around your brain. I mentioned hormones. When you don't sleep well, your hunger hormones get out of whack. You have a hormone that makes you hungry. It's called ghrelin. It's like your stomach is growling. And then leptin says, I'm full. I don't need to keep eating. When you don't sleep normally, that balance is tipped. And so you eat during the day when your body doesn't need food. And that results in weight gain, which increases your risk of diabetes, heart attacks, strokes, blood clots. I mean, you name it. And so restorative sleep, we say 7 to 9 hours a day for most adults would get them to the point that they're getting that benefit. And it's important to do things, sleep hygiene. Before it's time to go to bed, don't scroll on your phone. You want to set the stage for your brain to say, okay, it's time to sleep. So dim the lights some, turn off the blue lights, the TV, the cell phone, dim the lights. You may want to take a nice warm bath. Lavender, other scents can help, chamomile tea, read, journal. Just don't go from being up here to getting in bed. And then it takes you an hour to fall asleep because your brain is not prepared to go to sleep. So sleep is a major thing that people overlook.
I know. I look at it as, or at least this is what I tell my clients is give your body signals. So before you go to bed, give it signals, say it's safe, it's time to relax. We're
Mhm.
moving into a different area. So you're saying with the tea and the different movements, the bath, that is the body's signal,
Mhm.
awareness per se, to say it's time to relax. You're safe. Go to bed.
Yes, it's setting the stage for you to be able to get in the bed and fall asleep soon and
Yeah,
not lie in the bed tossing and turning for an hour before you fall off to sleep.
that is so important. But what happens if you're having stress, a lot of stress? How do stress and poor sleep directly impact chronic diseases like blood sugar, blood pressure, and immune function? And what's one nervous system tool and one sleep habit you start with this week?
Okay, so I mentioned that these things work together. When you have increased stress, your cortisol goes up. When you don't sleep, your cortisol goes up. When you
Mhm.
have increased stress, you don't sleep.
Mm.
So these things are linked together. So one thing to do differently this week is to implement just one thing, whether it's taking a nice warm bath before bedtime or dimming the lights. Do one thing at a time so you don't get overwhelmed. So there is a strong connection between stress and sleep and the nervous system and the hormones and inflammation because cortisol is linked to a lot of killers. I mean, we're talking about it increases inflammation in your body. And when your cortisol is high, then it impacts everything from your immune system to your ability to fight infections, to your um, disease states, to your blood sugar, to the ability to pull the sugar into the cells. I mean, cortisol is like a time bomb when it's chronic. Now, you need cortisol. You need hormones to kick in when your body says, I'm in a situation I need to get out of. Cortisol is great when you're running from a tiger. but we don't run from a tiger all day, every day. So when you need cortisol in an acute situation, that's important. But when it doesn't turn off, then that's huge. That sets the stage. And a lot of people think that, okay, mom had diabetes, dad had heart disease. A lot of people feel that they're going to get these diseases, but they don't realize that there's like a little switch inside your cells. Epigenetics deals with your predisposition to a condition, but it's not putting you at an all or none situation. There are few conditions that are genetically transmitted in a fashion that you cannot really do anything other than you can decrease the severity of that condition by doing certain things. Other than that, things like diabetes, type 2 diabetes, and so forth, high blood pressure, the genetic predisposition, you can flip that switch off or on. Every day, your choices turn that switch toward disease or toward health. And that's what we have control over. And so there are people who have a strong family history of condition A, but maybe part of it, in addition to the genetic predisposition, is they did the same things. They had the same habits that flipped that switch toward disease and not toward health. And so realizing that your genes don't define you, your habits define you, that empowers you to make the decisions that can turn things around. We even now know how to potentially reverse type 2 diabetes in a lot of people. When I was going through medical school, that was like the Jetsons, like there's just no way we're going to do this. But now we know that there are steps that can be taken that can actually get some people off their insulin, off their pills, and turn around the nerve damage, improve the blood kidney numbers, all naturally. So the potential of lifestyle medicine to turn things around is huge. Let me say something else as far as lifestyle medicine. Women who follow the pillars of lifestyle medicine are less likely to develop breast cancer than women who do not. Women who have breast cancer and are treated for it, who follow the pillars of lifestyle medicine, are less likely to have a recurrence of breast cancer. Women with breast cancer who are not considered curable but follow the pillars of lifestyle medicine are more likely to live a longer, more vibrant life despite the disease than those who don't. And so that's just one example of the power of lifestyle medicine to transform your future.
I love that. But I have a question for you.
Yes.
What's a simple way to explain insulin resistant, because that's more common,
Mm-hmm.
that makes people immediately say, oh, that's me? And also, what's most common everyday habits you see or you're aware of that quietly keep people inflamed, where
Mm-hmm.
their blood pressure is always raised, deregulate blood sugar without them realizing it? And how can women of color apply lifestyle medicine without giving up cultural foods? And what are the few simple swaps or cooking methods you recommend?
Okay. So insulin resistance, again, we're looking at cortisol, we're looking at your blood sugar going up. If you eat regularly throughout the day, you keep releasing, insulin. And as opposed to, having eating throughout the day, things that you can do, and by all means, I don't give medical advice. I give information that you can speak to your doctor about, but we now know that limiting the times that we eat, like 14 hours of fasting and eat in a 10-hour period, that is beneficial. So instead of snacking during the day and keeping the insulin just, pumping out, pumping out, pumping out, that's important. Exercise can also help decrease insulin resistance. And everybody's busy. I get that. But you don't have to go to a gym. You can get up, every couple of hours and march in place for 10 minutes. That's exercise. And that can help with your insulin resistance. And so watching the types of foods that you eat, things that, seed oils, they have a lot of the omega-6 that promotes inflammation. Use extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil instead of the regular seed oils. Stay away from the ultra processed foods. Ultra processed foods have been engineered to hit the same pleasure centers in your brain as sex, opiates, and other things that are enjoyable. So steer clear of those things. Eat, as much as possible, whole food, plant-based diet. I'm not saying that you have to give up all meat. I would say most of your plate should be whole, should be natural. Um, and I mean, with greens, one thing that I'm a vegetarian, one thing that I like to do is I will make a pot of greens and I use extra virgin olive oil and I'll put in like smoked paprika, onions, and season it up. And it tastes to me just as good as the pinto beans I used to season, with fat way back when. I do the same with greens. So there are ways that you can make changes. And I have to admit, hot sauce is like on my kitchen table. And so, whatever is not seasoned right, I throw hot sauce on it. I mean, my blood pressure is not an issue, but there are things that you can do, but you need to experiment with things and see what you enjoy. Right now, if I were to go back and eat the way I used to in the past, I get sick because my enzymes have changed, my body has changed. But let's talk about chicken. I just got a new air fryer because my family, they eat, poultry and fish. And so if you want fried chicken, okay. Um, so we know the white flour causes inflammation. Why don't you use like almond flour, wheat flour, whatever else, put the seasonings in it, dip it in your batter and put it, drizzle a little extra virgin olive oil in it and stick it in your air fryer. You have fried chicken. It just does not have the deep fried inflammation, the seed oil, and so forth that you had before. So there's a fix for everything, but you've got to get out there and start trying. It's something that you can do. You can get Chat GPT, sign up for free. Put in the ingredients that you like, the flavors that you like, and say, okay, create me a recipe with these things. I've done that so many times. Everything from almond flour breakfast cookies, for my kids to other things. Tell ChatGPT your favorite flavors and let it create your recipe for you.
Mm.
And then that's an easy way to get around what you don't want and be specific. Like, my blood pressure is high. I don't want a lot of salt. What can I do? And you put in what you like. And within a couple of seconds, you have a recipe that is healthy and it's going to fit your palate.
So how does someone combine lifestyle changes with medications for blood pressure or diabetes? And what are the signs that someone needs to see to know they are improving enough that they need to have a talk with their doctors about adjusting the meds and the hope of what's the most surprising improvement you have seen from lifestyle changes and how quickly did it happen? Because we like everything to happen overnight. When our health didn't, our chronic disease did not develop overnight. But
Right.
knowing our mentality, that's how we think.
So, first of all, I say always work with your doctor. Do not assume you're going to go out and do these things on your own and go to the doctor. Hey, I'm off my medicine. That may happen, but you could also end up in the hospital because you got sick. Let me give you an example. Your body is used to handling your diabetes a certain way. You make all of these changes, you're still taking the same amount of insulin, your blood sugar drops to 20 and you go into a coma. You don't want to do that. You want to move gradually. You want to talk to your doctor and say, look, this is the plan that I'm looking to do while I'm doing it. Shall I cut my insulin by 10 units in the morning? I mean, get input from your doctor first.
Before you start any lifestyle change.
Yes, because if you don't, and you are a super responder to lifestyle medicine, you don't want to end up in the hospital because your blood sugar is too low. You don't want to end up in the hospital because your blood pressure tanked. It can be
Right.
dangerous.
Yes.
So work with your doctor and you keep tabs of your blood sugar. You keep tabs of your blood pressure and create yourself a table. And you may say, for breakfast this day, I had A, B, C, D, and E. This is my blood pressure. This is my blood sugar.
Hmm.
So if the doctor knows, okay, this is the pattern, she can more safely say, okay, things look good. Let's cut this medicine in half. Come back to see me in 3 months, see where we are. Do it in a methodical, safe fashion. Um, you asked several questions.
No,
So,
you answered all of them. I'm
uh,
sorry.
okay,
Let me ask you
that's
just
okay.
one question here. With a lifestyle reset program, suppose I'm starting today.
Mhm.
What are my top three non-negotiables for the next 7 days?
Hydration is number one. For your cells to function properly, they need to be hydrated. So drink plenty of fluid. Stay away from the sodas, the high fructose corn syrup laden sodas. They can mess up your liver. They can do all sorts of things. So, if you don't like water, it's okay. Add, lemon. Something that I love is I love stevia. I get organic stevia. It is a plant. It's like, I think it said it's either 200 or 1,000 times sweeter than sugar. And I use it in my coffee every day. If I go on vacation, I get the little packets to take with me. I made sweet potato casseroles that my kids loved with no sugar, just stevia. All sorts of things, cookies, everything. This is a plant and it is so sweet. If I were to get a teaspoon of stevia, goodness, I could probably have about 20 cups of coffee with that one teaspoon easily, and they'd all be sweet. And so don't overdo it. It's not that I'm saying it's dangerous, it's that it's going to be so sweet. You'll be surprised a tiny pinch will sweeten your cup of coffee. So hydration, is one. Um, just experiment. Put some orange slices in something, some apple slices, whatever else. If you want a sweet, add some stevia. Number two is a whole food plant based diet. This is the only diet that has been shown to reverse heart disease. Now, I don't mean if you have 95% blockage, you're going to have zero blockage, but I'm saying that a study showed that they did a cardiac catheterization where they put dye in the arteries of the heart. And then they had people follow the regular diet and the regular drugs, the standard of care. And then they had other people do a whole food plant based diet and follow lifestyle medicine. They went back later and they repeated the study. The people who were following the standard of care, they had worse blockage than at day one. The people who followed the lifestyle medicine guidelines, they had less blockage years out. And so that is profound. That tells you a lot about what can be done. You're talking about the ability to reverse diabetes. A lot of it is based on diet. And people were told, don't eat lots of fruits and vegetables. It's the starchy things that can get you into trouble. But people who increase the the fruits and vegetables going along with a certain protocol meant to reverse diabetes, they're actually having more carbs per day and they can put the diabetes into remission. So again, don't do this on your own. Not everybody knows how to do this. And so, don't just jump out and Google, like, oh, I know how to do all of this, because that could put you at risk. And then exercise. Exercise is huge. It decreases your insulin resistance. It improves your life expectancy. It improves your cholesterol. It improves inflammation. It helps your cholesterol, blood pressure, everything, decreases your risk of cancer. So again, hydration, whole food, plant-based diet. You can have a little salmon on the side, if you're not ready to go pure whole food. And then exercise. Those are the three things that I would start with.
I like that. I remember when I first started lifestyle reset for myself, and I was drinking water first thing in the morning, hot water with lemon.
Mhm.
I think I put too much lemon, slice of lemon, and it brought up mucus. I had to go to the doctor to get medication to stop the mucus. So from that, I have learned not to do the lemon every day.
Mhm.
And if I do just a tiny bit and it works wonders. Because if you go overboard, you can get ill.
In anything, absolutely. You do too much, your body may not be happy with you.
No, no. So I would hope someone wouldn't start with it every day, every day. You can do
Mhm.
it in a relaxed way.
Yes.
So tell me your top three habits to start this week. I know you told me about the food, and that's just one section. There are different habits we have quietly that inflame us, and we're completely unaware of it. So, what do you think are three habits that they should start today to do a lifestyle reset?
Read the labels.
What are
Avoid
they looking
food.
for on the labels?
Pardon me?
What are they
Avoid
looking for?
Certainly avoid foods with high fructose corn syrup. Even your ketchup may have high fructose corn syrup. So you want to get rid of the foods with high fructose corn syrup. You don't want a lot of seed oils. Go for like the extra virgin olive oil or the avocado oil. Those things are significant.
What about the plain olive oil for cooking?
Plain olive oil is definitely better than the seed oils. Extra virgin olive oil is kind of like the gold standard.
I
But
know, but
olive
so,
oil,
but they always say the extra virgin shouldn't be used on a high flame, a high heat.
they have, I mean, different oils have different points um, where they start smoking. Coconut oil, you can cook that really high, but it's full of saturated fat.
Hmm.
So different oils have different levels. But you made an important point. When you are cooking things, I mean, if it gets to the point in the skillet that you're charring things, that can increase your risk of disease. You can, when you cook, you can actually create chemicals in healthy foods that drive inflammation, diabetes, Alzheimer's, and so forth. So don't overcook the food. You don't want to cook to the point that the oil is smoking or your food is getting burnt because there are these things called AGEs, glycation in products that can increase your risk of multiple diseases, and you can actually create them while you're cooking with
Hmm.
natural foods.
Because some of us like when it is crunchy and nice, but
An
that's
air fryer is a good option. Air
is
fryer
that a thing? But
is a good option.
could you mention one and two seed oils? Because just saying seed oils, you might not know what's a seed oil.
Canola, but if you go to the store, it says vegetable oils. Um, so I would go for, the
Canola is pushed a lot.
yes, and we know between the processing and so forth, the typical oils in on the grocers shelves have the potential to do harm, particularly if it is done in excess. So, first of all, one thing I say is cut back on the oils in general. I like to cook with vanilla Greek yogurt or just Greek yogurt. And I substitute that in my baking when it says butter. I put in the Greek yogurt. It's full of protein, calcium, and it's good for you. Versus the butter that has the trans fats naturally. That's it doesn't say trans fat on the label, but butter has the potential to have trans fat that's associated with heart attacks. And so look for substitutes. That's one of my favorite substitutes is Greek yogurt for oil when I'm cooking whenever possible. And I do that in all sorts of dishes.
Mm, never knew of that one to use it as an
Cornbread.
oil,
I do
as
that
an
in
oil.
cornbread. I'm
I'm
making
sorry.
cornbread to go with my greens.
Oh, yes.
Instead of oil, I may put in, Greek yogurt, plain Greek yogurt.
Okay. I was thinking along a different thought was in my mind when you say you use Greek oil as butter and as
Oh,
an
Greek
oil. I
yogurt
mean Greek yogurt, sorry,
instead of butter. Mhm.
butter and oil. Because suppose you're having a toast, you would put the yogurt on that?
You said toast?
Hmm.
You can, but I wouldn't use vanilla. You could use just regular. Well, let me see. If I were going to put it on toast, I would actually use like just a finely spread piece of the yogurt, and I would put some seasoning on it, garlic or
Mm.
something, some seasoning to make it taste good.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that. So, did I miss anything, or is there anything you would like to add that I didn't think to ask about?
Well, no, there's so much to talk about. I mentioned the prevent, treat, and reverse. I have created a framework, PTR reset, prevent, treat, and reverse diseases naturally, an on-demand course, well, several on-demand courses, and
How
people
can
can
they contact
actually,
you? How can they contact you to learn more?
okay, they can go to PTR, that's prevent, treat, reverse, PTRreset.com, and they can even sign up. I have a free course
Hmm.
that gives them an overview of lifestyle medicine. There's a quick video on all the pillars of lifestyle medicine. And certainly, if they like that, they want to dive deeper, there are other courses that take a much deeper dive into this, including like a 30-day reset. But you can go to ptrreset.com and sign up for the sneak peek for free.
So, in one sentence, what does a lifestyle reset make possible?
Enhanced longevity, vitality, better mood, and just a better future are all possible with the PTR reset. A lifestyle medicine reset can completely transform the next 30 years of your life.
I think that I love that because we don't realize how foundational and impactful our diet is, how it can reverse a lot of chronic diseases. And it's in the kitchen, cheaper, and the only side effect it has is all beneficial.
Mm,
Because I had some terrible side effects with medications. So with
yeah,
food, we have that power and that choice.
absolutely. And
So
that's powerful because a lot of people are able to get off of the medications under their doctor's supervision by doing things naturally. Think of how much happier you're going to be, fewer side effects, more money for your bank account and vacations than doctor's bills. All natural.
all natural. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for
And
having me.
I hope you would come again
I'd love to.
to talk about anything because your your conversation is so great and I've learned so much and I do
Thank you. I
appreciate you
appreciate
taking
it.
the time. Okay, so bye for
Okay.
now.
Bye bye.
Okay. I think I've stopped it.
Yes. No, it still says recording.